All right, we're live. It's Friday, mid to the end of the week.
Goodness, barely made it.
Yeah, you got Ryan Gresham, Kevin Jarnigan, and you're watching Gun Talk Live. We got kind of a new set here, and we're going to be talking some optics today.
Lots of optics, lots of options for guys.
Yeah. So one of the optics companies we've worked with and some stuff we've been shooting lately is Sightmark. And Sightmark, you may or may not have heard of them, but they make a wide range of stuff. So we thought we'd have them on the show today, talk about Sightmark optics, and maybe just if you have any optics questions, you can ask one of the experts. So we've got Chase Stevens here. Hey, Chase, how you doing?
Just fine, man. How are you guys?
Thanks for being here.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
You hadn't left work yet?
No, not yet. Not yet. We'll be here a little bit longer.
I tried to leave work, but Ryan was like, no. We got stuff to do.
Yeah, we'll do a live at 3 o'clock. Yeah. So for those who don't know, tell them about Sightmark.
So Sightmark was actually, we just celebrated our 10th year anniversary last year. So that was in 2017. So the company, I've been with the company about 10 and a half years. And the brand was started in the summer of 2007. So I started in the summer of 2008. So it was relatively new. We had a relatively small product offering, focusing on a couple tactical rifle scopes, a couple red dots, and then of course in-chamber laser bore sights, which we were kind of one of the first to do that. So we knew the AR platform was growing, but the boom kind of hadn't been set off just yet. It was still kind of a fringe platform compared to your traditional bolt-action rifles and hunting rifles. So we kind of saw the trend heading that direction, and we kind of wanted to design an optics company that would kind of focus on that platform, just because we saw an increasing popularity there. And really back in 2007, it's hard to imagine now, but at that time you really kind of had your high-end military optics brands that supplied the military and law enforcement, and then you had your entry-level kind of fly-by-night, not really branded. No warranty, no customer support, things like that, just importers that were white boxing a lot of stuff. So you didn't really have anything in between. And we kind of saw an opportunity to kind of position ourselves in the brand in between there to kind of incorporate some of the military style technology, but in a more affordable platform for your everyday shooter, hunter, three-gun match kind of guy. So that's kind of where the concept came from. The whole triple duty concept you hear in Sightmark sometimes is competition shooting, hunting, and then like home defense.
Okay, you mentioned that. So it's a full line: hunting, shooting, tactical, all that stuff.
Sure. And that's kind of back when we were doing it, you also had your traditional hunting, the Nikons and the Bushnells of the world, low turrets, low profile, going on bolt actions, and then you had your military guys, the Tridicon EOTechs in the world, and really nobody was trying to do both. You see it's kind of common now, but we kind of wanted to do something where, like, man, if we can do the tactical style with oversized locking turrets and things like that.
We just lost him, but we've been getting some comments on.
Okay, you still there, Chase?
Yep, still there.
All right, there we go.
You cut out for a second.
So we're trying to incorporate both. Really.
We've been getting a lot of comments on, oh man, I've always wanted to know about Sightmark, but haven't really tested those waters. But you guys really make almost overbuilt, kind of middle of the road products that everybody can afford.
Sure. And that was really the original, I guess, if you could sum up the brand concept, really in one sense, it was trying to bring military law enforcement technology down to an affordable everyday AR shooter's price point, to where he can actually afford it. So if a guy was spending $600-700 on an AR, he wasn't having to spend $2 or $3 grand on an optic. That didn't really need all the military capabilities, but he liked the technology.
Gotcha.
Two eyes open.
Well, speaking of a lot of those products, we've got them right here, and that's the Ultra Shot. We've been shooting that quite a bit here lately.
We've put a bunch of rounds down range through the Ultra Shots on shotguns, 308 ARs, regular ARs, and for those who don't know, maybe you could explain the Ultra Shot. It's basically a reflex sight.
Right. Yeah, and that's obviously not having any magnification like a traditional rifle scope. This is kind of built for 100 yards and in, quick target acquisition shooting. So whether that's a 3-gun match or fast-moving game in certain hunting situations, things like that, home defense, obviously. So basically having no magnification like any tube red dot or reflex sight, it basically just offers both eyes open, so there's an unlimited eye relief, and it basically just offers you the ability to pull it up without, you maintain your wide field.
Yeah, we've shot it, and he said 0 to 100 yards or something like that. But we just did a video, and we said, let's shoot it at I think at 200, 220.
Yeah, it was 220.
And let's just see if we can hit it. And we started hitting it, and then I stood up.
Yeah. Offhand.
Boom, 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 really consistently. And we were pretty impressed. I wasn't really expecting that. We also did some accuracy testing.
We did some accuracy, but they offer magnification for these two.
Right. This was without magnification.
No magnification.
Chase, I don't know if you could hear us, but we were talking about shooting some longer shots with this stuff.
Sure. And that's really where the kind of the development on magnifiers, that's where that came in. So basically when you've got a red dot or reflex sight, you're not magnified. So once you get past 100 yards, sometimes those reticles can take up too big of a portion of the target.
Right.
And you can't really be specific. So you can clean that, actually pair a magnifier here behind your optic, and then that way it offers a 3, 5, or 7x magnification in that red dot, and that's where the flip to side function comes in. You can kind of keep it on a flat top, and you're not having to constantly change out optics and things like that.
Right. It's a really cool, versatile way to set it up.
Sure. Right. And that's kind of where, that's where you see the growth in 1-6s. That's where a lot of that came from, because a true 1x will give you both eyes open, red dot type shooting, whereas you'll have the 6x magnification of a traditional rifle.
I have a kind of a dumb question. Something we were talking about.
I know what you're going to ask.
Because I don't know the answer.
But we've got a question. Any mid-range scopes for these guys hunting or anything like that?
Like mid-range?
Yeah, mid-range magnification.
Right. And that's usually, in the past, really your most traditional is the most common, was probably like a 3 to 9 by 42, maybe a 4 to 12, low profile turrets, things like that. And that's what your traditional, deer hunter would use, anywhere between 1 to 300 yards typically. But now the magnifications have gotten so big, the lens diameters have gotten so big, they can gather so much low light. We've really got anywhere in that gambit. So most of the 1-6s, the lower the magnification, the more it's on a quick target or close in platform. Whereas if you're shooting long range with a 6.5, 308,
the internet is mad at us today.
It's mad. It's been mad at me all day today. So
it happens.
I don't blame
it. Happens. Everyone's jumping on the internet. It's Friday.
So we could actually pose this question that you have to our viewers out there.
Yep.
They probably have an answer.
I know. Everyone's going to call me dumb, and they're going to say, why doesn't Ryan know the answer to this? And I know I could probably Google it, but that's too easy. So the question is, Chase, if you're back, there's the question. When you have your reflex sight, you put a magnifier on it.
Sure.
Do you have to, if you have your red dot sighted in, when you put the magnifier on, does it change the impact point?
Nothing at all will change with that. So if you once you've got your red dot here, let's say I moved it up my rail a little bit, set my magnifier behind it, nothing in that actual red dot, the wind edge elevation, none of that changes. So it actually stays the exact same, providing the magnifying lens to then magnify my reticle inside the optic. So really no changes at all. And you can either flip it out of the way if it's a flip to side mount, or just remove it altogether when you're just doing closer range shooting. But yeah, no changes in your red dot. Once you've got that sighted in, you're good.
I guess that makes sense, right? It's sighted in. You flip the magnifier. It's still sighted in. You just
magnified.
It's just magnified.
Yeah. I
This should
told
make
them.
sense.
We just had to get it from the source.
Yeah. I want to hear it from the expert.
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
trust you. So, when it comes to optics, what are some of the trends you guys are seeing?
Well, really, the trend's kind of been steady for the last 7 or 8 years. It's really just kind of been the changes within the AR platform. There's really only so much you can change, on a traditional one-shot bolt-action rifle. So most of the changes are coming around this platform because it's so versatile. So it used to just be 223, 556. Then you start to see some growth in 308. Now you're starting to see it with 300 blackout, 6.8 SPT. 6.5 Creedmoor, even in the same style with versatility in barrels and rails and things like that. But that's really the big strength of this platform, is that it's just so versatile. So it used to just be a home defense round, a law enforcement round, but now that they're adapting them for 300 blackout and things like that, 6.8, a lot of guys are using those for hunting scenarios. And then at the same time, it takes just a quick change of a barrel or a lower or whatever to or your upper to kind of use that to alternate between a hunting caliber, home defense, 3-gun matches, long range shooting, whatever you want to do, and you just can't do that with a traditional bolt action.
We have a question from Poetry on a Cracker. Do you have any optics for big magnums? And this actually leads me into the ultra shot on some of the, I guess the capabilities of it and
what
how
what
it's rated for.
Yeah.
And it goes up to like what, 550 cal? Right.
Yeah, and most of ours we try to, if we can prevent developing optics, at least in our Sightmark brand, that may give you hesitance if you're changing out your weapons platform. So we would really like ours to work anywhere from down to as small as a 22 all the way up to a 50 cal. So recoil should not be a problem at all. Now, we've got some caliber specific optics with specific DDC reticles for a 22 or a 556 or a 300 blackout, but recoil wise should never be an issue.
Is that true for magnified optics as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the same thing with our rifle scopes. We don't want guys to be hesitant if they're going from elk hunting up in Colorado, and then they're going back to their 3-gun to where they're putting on their son's 22 just to blink. We wanted it to pretty much handle everything. So it should handle those. I mean, if you come across a gun that didn't work on it, then it's very rare. A double-barreled elephant gun down in South Africa or something like that.
Okay.
It should
handle. One of the big trends right now is long-range shooting. And obviously, optics are a big part of that. When someone says
12 powers, 26 powers, I mean, all the way up to what's like 34.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy.
It's personal preference. And he's
you're back now, guys.
Back.
Oh, we're back? All right.
Yep. So yeah, I know you started with a question about some of the trends in long-range shooting.
Yeah, long-range shooting is really popular. And so when someone says, I want to reach out to further distances, what are your recommendations when it comes to optics?
Yeah, that's probably the biggest, or at least most recent trend. You kind of see it with growth and popularity with the 6.5 Creedmoor. You see a lot of guys now getting into the long-range 1,000-yard shooting, which is why we've actually just introduced a new rifle scope line designed specifically for that. So there will be, anywhere from 4 to 6x lens system.
Oh, wow.
If you ever hear a rifle scope manufacturer say that, what that is the range of magnification you have. So a 3 to 9 would be a 3x lens system, right?
Right.
3 by 3 is 9. 4 to 12, 3x lens system. The more lens systems you have in there, the more difficult it gets to manage clarity within your optics. So 1 to 6 is a 6x, but translating that from a 10 to 60 or something would be more difficult. So
that's tough.
You're starting to see more of that.
Yeah, they're asking for more, so they have to keep creating more. It's crazy. Any other questions that are popping up?
Just some that are, what optic do you recommend from your selection for 1,000-yard? I mean, kind of almost what we just talked about.
That's what people want to know. Yeah.
Perfect. We've actually are just starting to get our shipments are supposed to arrive it's called the Latitude series. So under our website, you can actually go to rifle scopes, and there's different families within that product category. But the Latitude series is specifically built for long range target shooting. So they'll have.
Okay, so new product line, Latitude series, long range. That's
Right.
kind of the trend.
Right, absolutely. That's what we're seeing with Bergera's a 6.5
Right.
manufacturer that's doing well. Ruger's got their 6.5 that's done really well, and you're starting to see a lot more of that. And they've got the capabilities to shoot 1,000 yards with that cartridge, so they like a rifle scope that will kind of compensate. Obviously, the further you shoot, the more you need to compensate for wind and drop and things like that. So that's what the Latitude series will do within the reticle. It'll help you range.
Chase, for people who are interested, how do they find Sightmark, find out more, buy stuff?
The easiest way really is obviously through our social media pages. So obviously we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the majors there, and then obviously the website. So you can actually sign up, I believe, for our blog on our website or through our social media pages. We'll actually give you constant updates. Maybe every couple weeks on what new products are due to come out soon, what new trends we've got coming out on products we may release at the beginning of 2019. So that's a good way to kind of stay in touch with, be the first to know what we've got coming out. So that's one way to do it.
Cool. Chase, thanks for being with us.
Yes, thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, guys. We definitely appreciate it.
Yeah. So Sightmark, optics are important, and a nice gun is great, but if you don't have good optics on it, you can't hit your target.
Yeah, and I know, there's a lot of companies out there that are producing, these. I'm not going to say budget-friendly optics, but they've overbuilt these. You look at just what we've dealt with in the past, month or two with the Ultra Shot. It's a $250, $300 optic, but it's overbuilt.
Right.
They really overbuilt these. Everything down to a sunshade right here. You start to look at it. It holds zero. It does everything you want to in an optic, but you're not paying the high-end prices.
Yeah. So we have shot a lot of these, the Ultra Shot, these four that are here, on a lot of different guns in a lot of different ways. We were testing accuracy, shooting groups that were pretty impressive for an unmagnified optic, shooting at distance, and it's been a fun thing. I always like red dot sights and reflex sights. They're
quick.
fun and easy.
They're quick.
What else is going on in the gun world this week? There's giveaways.
There's giveaways. Our newsletter just went out. Tom wrote a great piece on the threat to gun rights. If you guys haven't seen that, it's actually going to come out at 6 o'clock tonight.
Okay.
It is a phenomenal piece. Actually, it's up on our website right now, so go to guntalk.com, go into the newsletter, or I think it's the politics section, but it is actually a really well-written piece. He did a great job on it. He poured a lot of his heart and soul into it, and I highly recommend going and giving that a read. And go share it. This stuff is important to stay on top of, and I think once all the dust clears, it's not going to. The dust doesn't settle on this.
We're trying to give you intellectual ammunition, because, like, talking about Sightmark stuff, that's fun. Talking about shooting groups and shooting fast and all that, but the other side of it is really important, is the political side, the gun rights side of things, and I think it's going to heat up here as we get into those midterm elections, which is boring stuff. Politics stuff is boring to me, but it's really important.
You don't have one without the other.
Right.
We don't have the ability to look at all this cool gear and go shoot our suppressed firearms or high-cap magazines, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
We don't have that without the fight.
Right. Well, I had a conversation going this morning with someone, because I was on a podcast. The Restless Native podcast had me on, and that posted this week, and it was a lot of fun. Check it out, Restless Native podcast. But he wanted to ask me about bump stocks, and we got into this whole conversation about it, and somebody was saying that it doesn't have any, how did he put it? No utility, so there's not a need for it. And I was saying, well, utility doesn't really have a lot to do with it. And if you make utility the qualifier as whether something is good or not, the gun banners will tell you that there is no utility for this. You don't need hunting guns because you can go to a grocery store. You don't need self-defense guns because you can just call the police. So therefore, you don't need a gun. You can't open up that Pandora's box to say, well, we'll leave it up to the politicians, because that's what you're saying, because you're not going to explain it to them.
We've seen that.
To tell us, what guns are useful and have utility and what guns aren't.
Right.
When you start getting into admitting that there are good and bad guns, they can kind of start going, all the guns are bad.
Which is what they want.
Yeah. It was just a conversation we had going this morning, and I understand. I don't mind people disagreeing, but it was pretty good.
No. We've got a few comments coming in. Poetry on a Cracker, very active today. I see a crossbow and shotgun scopes also. Yeah, they have those too. And honestly, I wouldn't hesitate to throw this bad boy on a shotgun for turkey season. I mean, that would be a great use for these.
We did run it on a 12 gauge and put a lot of rounds through it. It did fine. And one of these, let's see, it's one of them has a reticle that you can change. Right. So I think it's really nice for a shotgun. They've got like a circle with a dot in the middle, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, night vision compatible. I mean, they give you everything. But what else is going on? I mean,
college football, NFL. I mean, I don't know. Hunting seasons are opening. I know here in Louisiana tomorrow teal season opens up, which is pretty cool.
Dove season. Are you guys shooting a lot of dove? I went out and
you shot at doves?
No, I shot a lot of doves. It was our cameraman who's behind there. He shot at a lot of doves. Wasted a lot of good ammo.
What's a good ratio on hitting doves? Because they fly pretty erratically.
Yeah. They fly erratic, and they're coming like lightning bolts. So
you have to wait for them to land on the power lines. Is what I find is the best strategy.
No, that is the worst strategy. Don't do that. No. Well, we were sitting over a water hole the first day, and they were flying really good, and got out there in the evening, and they were flying all over the place. And honestly, it took me a while because obviously I did not have a chance to go practice.
Right, we don't practice.
But that's really what you'd like to do. You like to go out and you like to practice your leads and everything. But they are humming, man. Those dove, they don't mess around. They're getting to where they're going, and they're getting there fast.
Yeah, and they're not decoying like a duck. You can here he is. Wings are cupped. Here we come.
No. These guys, they just fly right through. So,
yeah.
But it was fun. It was good. It was good. I actually took a gun that they don't produce anymore out just because it's my favorite dove gun. I took a Smith & Wesson Elite Gold out, side by side 20.
Yeah, that's a cool gun.
So that's my field gun.
Turkish made, right?
Yeah, beautiful guns. If you guys ever see one, if you guys ever see them out there for sale, buy them immediately. They're beautiful guns, and they go bang.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
they kind of were a couple of years there with them making these guns, and then it's like, wait, Smith & Wesson side by side.
Yeah.
But they're nice, yeah. And Turkish gun makers, they know what they're doing generally.
Absolutely.
So, that's what we got for Gun Talk Live. Anything else that we got to cover here?
Nothing else we got to cover. You guys were great today. Thanks for tuning in, and we will be back. Now, next week, let's go ahead and
tease it.
Next Thursday, we're going to be on Sportsman's channel.
Sportsman's Channel's Facebook.
Yes.
At night, Thursday night, talking about, it's Deer Week. That's their big promo week. So we did kind of a themed show for Guns and Gear. That's gear that could be used for deer hunting. And so we're going to be talking about that. Some sort of round table setup. I don't know. It'll be a free-for-all. It'll be great.
I'm sure you'll get plenty of hunting stories from each of us, right?
Oh, sure. I got some stories.
Last week.
So be careful out there. Get out to the range. Maybe even do some hunting if it's open in your area. And, of course, be safe.